You've got to let me in.
The Old Mutual joBerg2c, brought to you by Avis Van Rental.
It's the penultimate day of the 2015 Old Mutual joBerg2c as we depart Mackenzie Club for joLivet. A distance of 99 kilometers. We drop down into the Umkomaas Valley before heading out the other side. It's not going to be an easy day in the saddle. In fact, plenty of hours being spent out there. It was an earlier than usual start as the vuvuzela sounded at 6:30 on the coldest morning of the Old Mutual joBerg2c to set the first batch of riders on their way. It was a furious pace on the front as the Pro Elite men made sure that they were the first into the single track section for the breathtaking 13-kilometer descent down the Umkomaas River Valley. Solo rider Nico Fitzmeyer was the first to make the drop down the adrenaline rush flowing track, followed by the defending champions and overall leaders Team EAI and Altec Autopage. The friendly banter in the mixed team race turned serious, with second place Valencia looking to make up the time on Sattel Coffee, who had a bad start due to a mechanical. The pros were in mountain biking euphoria as they cracked on down at breakneck speeds and yet making it look so easy. Fitzmeyer on his dual SAS Piger was carving a lone trail up ahead. Team Valencia Sam Saunders and former downhill champion Justin Victor had the bit between their teeth, even though an unsuspecting cow nearly caused their undoing with a joBerg-like taxi maneuver in peak hour traffic. Altec Autopage Karen Beef, realizing that Team Gear Change were not at the head of the race, applied the pressure with Peter Seifert and Hanko Kachhoff steaming ahead. Johan Robbie and Javi Kombrink were having yet another stellar day in the saddle, riding conservatively and protecting their 19-minute lead. There was no pressure on these two EAI riders. Into water point 3, Kombrink snuck through without stopping, while the other three halted for the obligatory Coke and a splash and dash. Fitzmeyer reached the same water point in the lead of the solo race and making a good attempt to crack Tim Hammond, who had led this category since stage 2. The two Sasol racing ladies, Yolanda de Villiers and Catherine Williamson, continuing on their charge to the overall women's title with another fantastic ride that would see them finish inside the top 20 overall. Meanwhile, back in the fiercely contested mixed team race, both Justin Victor and Billy Stelling suffered an early crash and were feeling the effects on course, more so for Victor. The Valencia pair were leading all the way through the third water point in an attempt to pull back their 6-minute deficit, but the Sattel Coffee team of Buchacher and Stelling had narrowed the gap in a great display of grit and determination. Chris Brand and Paul Furbank going through the last water point with a comfortable lead in the Masters race. Sean Henderson and a suffering David de Lima, who is nursing 3 broken ribs, are still in the lead of the veterans race, but it's been a difficult 3 days since David's crash. Back at the front, coming into the finish at joLivet, a medical vehicle accidentally got in the way of the sprint. It was Kombrink and Robbie that won their 5th stage of the tour to solidify their title defense heading into the final day's racing into Scottsboro on Saturday.
On such a short stage to make up 10 minutes is almost impossible. I mean, Tim is riding really well and you have to, ask for a mechanical or something else, which I didn't really want to, It was such a great experience being out at joBerg2c again. It's more about sharing the passion, having fun together, and the result is just a bonus for me.
The 5-minute buffer, that's all you've got to try and maintain. So then we eventually caught them and passed them about 8 k's from the end. Well, we haven't had a plan yet, so maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe we should sit down and have a meeting. What do you think? Should we have a meeting? Just right, there you go. The boss has spoken, and so that's what we'll do. We'll just get up, we'll have some whiskey tonight and ride tomorrow.
Kombrink and Robbie are on course for back-to-back Old Mutual joBerg2c titles with a 19-minute, 15-second lead over Kachhoff and Seifert, while de Villiers and Williamson can enjoy a leisurely ride into Scottsboro thanks to their 4-hour 15-minute lead in the women's race. The Sattel Coffee team lead Valencia by just under 7 minutes as the battle is set to continue. Paula Hardy and Tim Hammond look set to be crowned women's and men's solo champions. Paul Furbank and Chris Brand have a healthy 28-minute lead in the Masters race, while de Lima and Henderson should be rewarded in the veterans race. Brad Kingsley will head to Scottsboro as the leader in the solo Buffalo race, while the Wiggett brothers only have an 11-minute lead on Minnie and Cock in the Buffalo team race. Tomorrow marks the final day of the 2015 Old Mutual joBerg2c as we finish our journey to Scottsboro with an 84-kilometer blitz to the Indian Ocean. Well done to everybody for making it so far.